son of a bitch and fucking probably in, I don't know what that is there, B, probably B1. I missed the cold start, but just listen to her though. Boy, that's nice. But it's like plus 11 here today, so we are gonna go and grab the air seeder and pull it up into the yard here. I think is our plan anyways, so Antoine just went and changed the one flat tire on it. So we're gonna go hook on and drag her up here. It's windy out here. If it's got a bunch of wind noise, I apologize. And we're gonna have to go grab the pin out of the tractor here and he gets a little closer. Now, the only thing we're worried about are those few packers in the middle there, because there's snow on them yet. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it to make sure they're not too froze, but they should just kind of go punk and come out. Now, she's a little frizzed yet. Might have to do a little bit of herky-jerky, rocky back and forth here. Oh, there she goes. Trying to lift, pull those big tires out of the ice there too. There she goes. See, that one set of packers is froze there, so which doesn't really matter because it's riding on the wheels. Oh yeah, they're starting to turn now. That's the one downside to that machine is those packers are just about always on the ground. And we don't like leaving it parked with the wings folded up over the course of the winter time. Just because there's too much weight on the tires holding all that up, so call us stupid if you want, but whatever. And then that way too, if a hydraulic line fails, it doesn't sag down onto the ground and then you're screwing around trying to get things to move after. So anyway, we have all new openers coming for this machine, the tips and the seat boot, so that's why we're bringing her up early, because it's going to be a really big job to change all of them. Anyway, we're going to get her to the yard and we'll talk to you when we get there. What do you figure, too early in the year to be dealing with this already, or no?
No.
Okay, good. So he's gonna unfold the wings up in the yard here because you don't want to be driving around. The yard's pretty soft to have all that weight on just the caster wheels on the front, so he's gonna unfold it here to disperse the weight a little bit so we don't get her planted. Are you gonna lift that back in the tractor?
Yeah.
You are? Oh, well, that's good. We are gonna use white grease.
A little bit of grease. A little bit of oil, a little bit of grease.
A little bit of YK jelly.
YK.
Yeah, that's the better kind. Get out the Vaseline. Honk honk. Oh, she's cold this morning. We got to step it ahead a little bit because all the snow melted out in the Packers, and it's a big puddle underneath of there now. There she goes. So we're changing all our openers and boots on here. These are some of the better old ones we're keeping. I'll show you the real wore out ones. So there's a really wore out one, they're carbide. And here's the new ones. You can see the difference there. How much more there is. So they'll last a real long time with that carbide compared to just a steel one. You'll probably get 4, 5, 6,000 acres before they're toast. Like, I mean, you could probably run that one again, but nah. So I'm keeping these bit better ones. The other thing is too here, when they get real war thin like that, when we knock the roll pins out, they're blowing into pieces. So if you hit a rock with that, it'd blow it apart too. So they're junk. And then the other thing, we've got all new seed runs for it. And these are sideband. So I'll show you how it works here. He's just gonna let her percolate for a few minutes. So our fertilizer, our anhydrous, comes down this line through the center of the boot and comes out here. And that carbide tip goes on. And that's what breaks your initial ground. And your anhydrous goes down below where your seed is. That way you don't burn your seed. And then this is the seed boot. And these are split ones on here that I didn't like, so I plugged one side off with silicone so that it would just sideband, and that's what we want. So now that I bought these new ones, you can see the difference there, how much more metal there is. So that'll bolt in there, and your seed comes in and sidebands it slightly above and to the side of where that anhydrous is. Now you can get these with carbide on them as well. These ones are steel, and they're $77 each. The carbide ones are $330. So we can go through just about 4 sets of those to the cost of one carbide. And by the time you've been through 4 sets of them, the carbide would be wore out anyway. So, we're working on changing all them and putting all new bolts in. But like I said, we're just gonna step her ahead a little bit to get out of the mud. That's good there. And we'll keep on working on them. They're just held in with a roll pin. I'll show you here in a few seconds. We just use the air hammer and pop, blows it out. So anyway, talk to you in a minute. Come here, I'll show them. You see the little hole in there and the little roll pin. So you line this up. Come on. Dirty bastard anyway. Just because you're making a video, this one's gonna be really stubborn. There. There, then you use your roll pin hammer and you drive her home. Look at that. Only another 40 to go. Well, I got all the tips changed on it. And now Antoine's working on knocking off his fucking enemies in the field here. Yeah, the bracket's still on that one. So there's that little bracket there. So I'm gonna try to get this hose clamp out of the way. But there's that bracket bolts in behind here, and then bolts to this, wraps around. And then there's nuts in behind there, and a little block that's supposed to keep the nut from spinning. Well, that works about as well as Adobe's ass. So they're all coming off. See that little block in there? So they don't work very well. And then when you gotta take the boot apart to fix something out in the field, you curse and swear and rant and rave for 6 hours trying to get the goddamn nuts undone. So those are all coming off, and then we're putting new grade 8 bolts and washers on it, because they got a real tendency with just the grade 5 stuff. It bends the washers, it dishes them up, and then your boot is loose on it. You can't get it tight. So we're changing all that over to grade 8 as well. But anyway, probably where we'll finish for today. So I guess we'll talk to you tomorrow morning when we're working on something else on it. I don't know what that switch does. Flip it? Nothing. Something for the sprayer maybe. Anyway, it's the next day and we've got this thing all finished. We just finished dumping new hydraulic oil in it. We got to start it so it can charge the system, and then add a bit more oil and get it the hell out of here. So what? Yeah, the next day. Starts nice, just like summertime. That's scary. Wants to move like that. There's no oil in the center transmission where your 2-speed is. Well, there's no oil in any of it. We drained the whole system. Scary. See how much, because it's got to run to pump oil from the back, because your rear diff and your back half of the transmission are here, and then your 2-speed and your PTO and your through shaft are up here. So it's got a scavenge pump up there, so it pumps oil, and once it gets to that level where the scavenge pump is, it sends it back, and that's how it keeps the level. So once you've drained all the oil, you got to let it pump back and fill it up. Did it move?
Oh, it's not on this second.
Oh, it's gone now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a loop on here too to
Move some around. I think they're all at Grandma's house, those loops, the storage house. No. Anyway, so that's what's going on today, but we're gonna get that out and probably bring the 895 in, but I think the video is long enough, so that's where I'm gonna end it, and we'll pick it up here in the next one. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more. We'll talk to you later.